Hello everyone, this is Sugawara's Fist and I'm back with another video. This is the second part of the KageHina red string AU. Disclaimer though, I did get some inspiration from doujinshis that I've read before, so you might see some familiar scenes. Anyways, I hope y'all enjoy this video. A red string AU wherein you have to give your soulmate something valuable that is yours to bind your souls together. After doing so, the string will then appear, meaning that this person is officially connected to you. Tobio. Here we go again. Yes papa? Make sure to take care of mama and Wana-chan, okay? I hate this. Every single night I dream about the exact same scenario from 10 years ago, the time when my dad gave me reminders and talked to me for the last time. For fuck's sake, he was wearing a suit with a big suitcase behind him. Why didn't I stop him? Why did I just let all of that happen? Now all I have to remember him is this pen. Wait, what? Pen? What is this, papa? Papa's favorite pen? What? No, he didn't give me a pen, it was a hoodie, the gray one. Why are you giving it to me? My hands are too small, papa. No, what the dash, what the hell is going on? He didn't give me a pen, he gave me a hoodie. Thanks papa. Kageyama's eyes shot wide open as his alarm rings beside his ear. He gasps for air as he tries to recall his dream. What just happened? Why was he given a pen instead of a hoodie? He slowly sits up on the bed and his gaze immediately lands on the clothing rack in front of him, and it gives him a sense of relief when he sees the gray hoodie at the same place as it was. He doesn't know why, but the thought of losing the hoodie made him crazy, but what drove him even crazier was his dream. This left Kageyama thinking. On top of that, he knew that pen, that specific pen, was familiar, and it was odd because it was a pen usually used in drawing, particularly in architecture. His dad was an accountant. Annoyed, he flopped back to his bed and stared at the ceiling of his room. He's trying to get a hint of déjà vu so that he can remember where that familiar pen is from. He knows that pen, if he just pumps his brain enough, he can remember what that is. He thinks and he thinks, but nothing comes to mind. He sits up, pissed, and glances at his exercise list on the wall. He stands up and decides to do a morning jog since he and Hinata plan to go to Karasuno later in the afternoon, meaning that he doesn't have anything else to do. Kageyama washed his face and brushed his teeth. He wore his usual morning workout outfit, including his gloves, and was about to walk out of his room when he saw something in his peripheral vision once again. He glanced at the same clothing rack in his room and looked at the same gray hoodie that has been sitting in his room for years. He stares at it, longer this time around. His hands were reaching towards the clothing, but he stopped himself at the last second and just went out of the room. He walks downstairs and asks his mother, who was also about to leave the house, for permission before going out of the house. He does a little stretch in front of the house before starting to jog around the neighborhood. It was very quiet. He was calm and collected, but his mind wasn't necessarily empty and thoughtless. He started thinking about his soulmate, whom he doesn't even know the identity of yet. He wants it to be the person he likes, but destiny is very playful and tricky. Some of the people that he wouldn't expect to be soulmates are now tied together by the universe. His two senpais, Oikawa and Iwaizumi, are definitely one of those people. He always thought that they were just best friends, so he was shocked when Oikawa told him about the two being soulmates. Kageyama doesn't really care about soulmates, not just because his focus is only on volleyball, but also because of his parents. He was told that his parents were soulmates, that they were a pair made by the universe, that they were gonna be inseparable and loving to each other, until his father left them. He started having doubts ever since. Do soulmates really exist? Is it just a lie made by people, or is it really worth it to have a soulmate? As much as possible he wants to have a soulmate that won't hinder him from playing volleyball, and he can only think of one person that's suited for the job. Oh, hello Kageyama-kun. Speaking of that person, Kageyama snaps back to reality and stops in his tracks. he looks in front of him and sees Hinata waving at him while puffing out visible air because of the cold weather. "Oi dumbass, what are you doing here?" "I'm on a jog, what do you think I'm doing?" "The fuck did you say?" I'm sorry great king, please forgive me." Hinata rubs his hands together while bowing continuously to Kageyama, but he still receives a light smack in the head. "I meant, what are you doing here in my neighborhood?" "I just wanted to go here, why, is there something wrong?" No. A blush forms in Kageyama's cheeks and he quickly looks to his side to hide his flustered face. "Kageyama-kun, are you okay?" Hinata furrows his brows and slowly stretches his hands towards Kageyama's flushed cheeks. He tiptoed and softly cupped Kageyama's cheeks and felt the taller boy's warm cheeks with his bare hands. Kageyama flinched and immediately raised his head back to Hinata with his cheeks even redder this time. "Oh, you dumbass, what are you doing?" "Kageyama-kun." Hinata pulls Kageyama's head towards his and lightly bumps his forehead with Kageyama's. Kageyama's eyes widened along with his shoulders. That perked up, he took a sharp breath and was about to push Hinata away but stopped himself when he felt Hinata's hands squeeze his cheeks even more. "Are you sick? You feel so hot and..." Hinata lets go of Kageyama's face and took one step back. Kageyama's hands raced to his face to try and cover his red cheeks while Hinata observed his whole existence. "You look hot." Of course, Hinata meant that as in that his skin looks like it's on fire, but poor Kageyama mistook that as Hinata telling him that he's attractively hot, which he is. Let's make things clear. What? "You look hot, you look like you're in heat, Kageyama-kun, are you shut up?" Kageyama charged towards Hinata and without having much time to think, he headbutts Hinata so hard and the shorter boy stumbles back and collapses to the ground. "You dumbass, this is your fault, why would you say things like that?" Kageyama grimaced and massaged his forehead to ease the pain from that head, but he just did. He looked in front of him and his eyes widened when he saw Hinata laying in the ground and not moving a single muscle. "Hinata." Kageyama runs to Hinata and sits by his side and sees the boy, knocked unconscious. "Oh, Hinata. Hinata." "What did you do to him?" "I didn't do anything." "Bullshit, his forehead is as red as your cheeks." "No it's not." Kageyama, who's still trying to prove that he's not beet red after carrying Hinata to the Kageyama residence, immediately puts up his hands to his cheeks and covers them. After knocking Hinata out, he tried shaking and waking the shorter boy up, but he was completely unconscious. He was very worried and he ended up scooping the boy up and immediately ran back to his house. Kageyama's an overthinker. His trail of thoughts ranged from Hinata simply needing an ice pack and to him being paralyzed and not being able to play volleyball anymore. Every stride Kageyama took was very heavy because of the thoughts that went to his mind. He never thought that his head was this strong. After a minute of running, Kageyama, with Hinata on his arms, finally arrives at the house. Kageyama elbowed the doorbell and yelled for his mother and sister. He knows that his mother usually goes to the market early in the morning, so he's positive that she went out shortly after he went out for a jog. His sister, on the other hand, sleeps like she's sleeping in a soundproof room. On top of that, she also usually wakes up late whenever no one is there to wake her up. Kageyama continued to scream and also press the doorbell with Hinata's foot. Fortunately, somebody opens the door and it was Miwa, who just woke up and had a cup of coffee on her hands. Her eyes immediately widened when she saw her little brother carrying someone unconscious. Miwa had a dozen questions for Tobio, but she didn't ask a single one since she was also panicking along with Tobio, who was trying to walk inside the house. They ended up bringing Hinata to Kageyama's room, laid him down on the bed, put some ice pack on his forehead, and now we're here. Tell me the truth, why is Hinata unconscious? I may or may have head-butted him in the head, no big deal. No big deal, oh my goodness Tobio. I'm sorry, is he gonna be okay, is he still gonna be able to play volleyball? They continued to scream and panic, without knowing that Hinata was starting to slowly regain consciousness. Hinata starts to stir on the bed and he slowly sits up, with the ice pack slowly sliding down his belly. He massaged his forehead a little and saw the two Kageyamas arguing in front of him. "Kageyama-kun, Miwana-san?" Hinata says in a whispery tone. Kageyama's eyes widen and he immediately turns his head to Hinata and sees the boy awake. "Hinata, ah, thank God you're awake." Kageyama yelled and jumped over to the shorter boy and hugged him. Hinata flinched in shock but also hugged Kageyama eventually. "Hello to you too, Kageyama-kun." Hinata likes hugs. It took Kageyama a few moments to realize that he was hugging Hinata, but he eventually did so. He immediately pulled away from the hug, stood up and cleared his throat in embarrassment, while Miwa was just there, standing and smirking at them. "Anyways, Shoyo, are you okay? I'm sorry that my stupid of a brother here knocked you out." "I'm fine, Miwana-san. My mom said that I have a thick skull so I'll probably be okay." "I don't think she meant that literally, but okay, tell me if you're getting dizzy. Okay, we'll go to the hospital if you are." "Okay, thank you, Na-san." "Welcome, I'm going now. Don't do anything suspicious, okay, Tobio, I'm watching you." "Oh gosh, Na-chan, you're just panicking, get out." "Bye." Miwa leaves the room and there was a very awkward silence after she did. Kageyama was standing by the door, his back facing Hinata, and Hinata was quietly sitting on the bed while tugging the blanket that's covering his legs. Hinata's heart dropped when Kageyama slowly started to turn around to face him in the most terrifying and horrifying way, but the terror eventually left his system when he saw Kageyama's constipated and nervous face. Hinata stood up and slowly walked over to Kageyama. "Kageyama-kun, are you sure that you're not sick? Are you okay? Can you still move around?" "Yes, why?" Kageyama raised his finger and moved it side to side. "Can you follow my finger?" Hinata realizes what the taller boy was doing and he cracks up laughing. "Why are you laughing? This is an emergency." "Kageyama-kun, don't worry, I'm okay. I can still spike your sets." "You dumbass, that's not what I'm worried about." "Then what are you worried about?" Once again, without thinking properly, Kageyama cupped both of Hinata's cheeks. The tables have now turned because Hinata is now the one whose cheeks are blushing like a teenager in love. "I'm worried about your well-being, you idiot." They both made eye contact with each other while Hinata's cheeks were still being squished to the point where his lips were doing a light pout. A blush slowly creeped throughout Hinata's face and that's when Kageyama also poofed up. Kageyama lets go of Hinata's face as if it's on fire and the latter was just staring at him with wide confused eyes. I am sorry." "Oh, yeah, it's fine." Silence covers the room once again but it was eventually broken by Kageyama who couldn't stand the awkwardness anymore. Look at the time. Your parents must be worried." "Yeah, I think so too. You should probably go home." "Yeah. Do you want me to walk with you?" No, I'm good." "Oh okay. See you later?" "Yeah, see ya later, Kageyama-kun." Hinata awkwardly walks over to the door, opens it, and leaves the room without turning back. Kageyama waits for Hinata to leave the house before jumping on his bed and starting to fuss over what just happened. He's being too comfortable with all the skinship that's going on, too comfortable. Fuck this, how the hell am I supposed to be not obvious? 11 a.m. Kageyama and Hinata private message. Oi dumbass, where are you? Wait a minute Kageyama-kun, I'm still picking something to wear. Hurry up. Understood, Your Majesty. What did you say? Eek, I'm sorry, bye. Kageyama lets out an annoyed sigh and puts his phone back in his pocket. he puts his hands on the pocket of his coat to keep it warm. He doesn't usually listen or read weather forecasts, but his mom told him that he should wear a thick coat since it might snow later. It also took him quite a long time to go out since Miwa did not like his fashion one bit. That's why he left the house 30 minutes later, and that's why it pisses him off that Hinata's still late despite all of that. He's also very worried and disturbed because Hinata left at an awkward moment earlier. He hopes that everything's okay and that awkwardness doesn't hinder them from having a good time. Kageyama waits and waits until he hears a faint sound of someone screaming. He looked to his side and saw Hinata waving at him. Kageyama grins to himself, but he immediately brushes it off and goes back to his serious and poker face. "Hello Kageyama-kun, sorry I'm late." "It's fine you dumbass. Let's go." Hinata giggles and they both start walking to the school. "Is your forehead okay?" "Yeah, I'm fine now. How about you Kageyama-kun?" "How many times do I have to tell you, I'm not sick?" "Okay, if that's what you want to believe." It was silent once again, and Kageyama wasn't thinking of anything until something suddenly bombarded his mind. Is this a date? Is it a date? Kageyama has never been on a date before, so he doesn't know how it works. Has Hinata been on a date? He highly doubts that. So what the hell is this? Do platonic dates even exist? Wait, Hinata was the one who came up with this. Did Hinata ask him on a date? Are they on a date? Kageyama's mind is in shambles, but he tries his hardest to not show it in his face. Little did he know, Hinata was also thinking about the same thing. Are we on a date? Are they on a date? Did Hinata ask Kageyama on a date? Does Kageyama think that they're on a date? Is he the only one thinking about this? Was this weird for Kageyama? Can you even call this a date if you're not sure if it is? He hasn't even been on a single date, but Kageyama probably has. Should he ask him? Hinata took all of his willpower together and dropped the bomb. Kageyama-kun, are we on a date right now? Kageyama abruptly stops walking, and so does Hinata. Hinata saw Kageyama's eyes widening and he doesn't know if he messed up or not. Don't ask me, you're the one who said that we should go together. It might have sounded mean and cold, but that is because Kageyama is a bag of nerves right now. After that remark, nobody said a single word and they were just there standing awkwardly. Well, Kageyama-kun. What? Do you want it to be a date? They both face each other, with their eyes locking the moment they did. Hinata's heart was doing gymnastics and Kageyama's was running a marathon. Their hearts were both racing and they both were stunned about everything. Hinata doesn't know why he asked that, and Kageyama doesn't know what to answer. Maybe for some reason, Hinata couldn't stop a smile from creeping on his face. Okay, it's a date then. Sure. 4 p.m. This cotton candy is super delicious. What does yours taste like, Kageyama? Don't they all taste the same? Yeah. Hinata, hoping that Kageyama would give him a piece of the cotton candy, looks at the taller boy with sparkly eyes. It has been 5 hours and it's safe to say that Kageyama and Hinata have already forgotten about the awkward talk they had earlier. When they arrived at the school, they ran into Yamaguchi and Tsukishima, who were also on a date. The only difference is it's very clear that Yamaguchi and Tsukishima are on a date while Kageyama and Hinata, on the other hand, not so much. They also saw Yachi with a bunch of other friends, so they didn't bother to ask her to come with them. They just said hi and then went away. They first went to the stall of Daiichi's and Suga's classroom. They were doing a little food stall and there were also some other cute services, such as secret love letters and a Cupid-themed photo background. They bought takoyakis and drinks and went to take a picture on the wall. They took multiple pictures such as solo, pairs, and group ones. After that, they went on to find Asahi's and Kyoko's classroom stall, and they were really surprised to see Asahi wearing a maid outfit while serving Nishinoya and Tanaka iced coffees. With all the men wearing maid outfits, and the women wearing suits, it's pretty expected that their stall would gather a lot of attention. They went to the stall and they were all entertained by Kyoko on the counter, who's of course wearing a suit. They already have drinks on their hands, so they just bought some cookies and cupcakes before leaving the stall. They also talked to Nishinoya and Tanaka and asked them to come with them, but it looks like the two are not planning on going anywhere. They left the stall and started exploring the other ones. They played games, earned stuffed toys, ate more food, bought cotton candies, and now they're here. Oi Kageyama-kun. What? I wanna taste. Yours. Here. Kageyama places his stick of cotton candy in front of Hinata and carefully feeds him, while Tsukishima and Yamaguchi are just standing there looking at them. How do they manage to look more like a couple than us? I'll give you a kiss later. Yamaguchi pouts and glances at the taller boy. Tsukishima looks down to his soulmate and he can almost see a tail wagging while he gives him puppy eyes. Ugh, fine. Tsukishima gives Yamaguchi a quick kiss on the lips and the latter immediately smiles after that. Kageyama finished feeding Hinata the cotton candy and he continued to eat it afterwards. Hinata, who had a bunch of cotton candy stuffed in his mouth, choked on all of it when he saw Kageyama taking a bite of the cotton candy at the same place he munched on. Hinata, are you okay? Oi. Dumbass, what the fuck are you doing? Dash, ha 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 ha, Shrimpy's choking on a cotton candy, what a sight. Tsuki, stop laughing and help us. Yamaguchi was massaging Hinata's back in circles and Kageyama was patting his back. Tsukishima annoyingly rolls his eyes, walks over to them, and slaps Hinata's back. The slap, surprisingly, was hard enough for Hinata to stop choking. Kageyama then glared daggers at Tsukishima and the blonde just shrugged his shoulders and gave Kageyama a smug smile. You're welcome. Kageyama squints his eyes in annoyance, then looks back to Hinata who was already recovering. Are you okay now? Yeah. Thanks Yamaguchi. You dumbass, why did you even choke on a cotton candy? Well. You took a bite of the cotton candy and that's also where I took a bite, so it's like an indirect kiss? Hinata hesitantly nods and Tsukishima immediately bursts out laughing. Yamaguchi also laughs and goes after his soulmate, who was already sitting on the ground while grasping his stomach. Kageyama and Hinata, on the other hand, were just awkwardly standing there, with a thick blush on their faces. You dumbass, why would you think something like that? I'm sorry, okay. Hey, calm down you two. Hey you four, having fun? Sugawara appears behind Tsukishima while waving an envelope towards them. Oi Hinata, I heard you coughing, are you okay? Yes Suga-san. Well, I just came here to give my dear Kageyama, Kageyama, a letter. Kageyama frowns at what he hears, but it's not the bad type of frown. He grabs the letter that Suga was handing him and he looks at it with utter confusion. I'm going now, enjoy the rest of the event, bye. Goodbye Suga-san. Bye Suga-san. Goodbye, bye to you too Tsukishima, and of course to you Kageyama. Kageyama springs up his head to look at Suga who was giving him a smile. It was a very sweet smile but it gave him the chills. You're not gonna open the letter Kageyama-kun? Kageyama pockets the letter and Hinata furrows his brows. I'll read it later. Okay. Hinata had a slightly pained expression on his face which Kageyama noticed, but the latter chose to ignore it. Let's go somewhere else again, wanna play that water gun game? Yeah, let's go. Hinata jumps in excitement and immediately runs to find the stall. The three followed him shortly after, and so, they played and played and played until they got sick of it. They also bought more foods and drinks, and Hinata actually ran out of money and Kageyama had to pay for him. Hinata thought that he owes his life to Kageyama for that, but the taller boy doesn't really mind buying things for Hinata. After an hour of touring the whole event, they finally decided to leave. Tsukishima and Yamaguchi had other plans, so they all went their separate ways. Hinata and Kageyama are once again walking Home together with silence covering the whole place, but unlike any day prior to this day, it wasn't an unpleasant silence, it was somehow very comforting for the both of them, but their minds were still occupied. They continued to walk with different things in their minds when it suddenly started snowing. That was also when Kageyama remembered about the weather forecast that his mother told him about earlier before he left. Crap, it's snowing, I didn't bring my umbrella today. Let's go to my house, it's nearer, just spend the rest of the night there. But I don't have extra clothes. I'll let you borrow mine, let's go. They both started running while shielding their heads with their hands. It was also getting slippery, but fortunately they didn't trip or slip. Well, Kageyama had to hold Hinata's arm, so maybe it's because of that. They arrive at the Kageyama residence and Tobio immediately opens the door and pushes Hinata inside the house before himself. We're home. Sorry for the intrusion. Kageyama's mom suddenly comes into view and a bright smile immediately appears on her face. Oh, Shoyo-kun, hello. Good evening, auntie. Mom, is the snow gonna last overnight? Kageyama's mom glanced at the living room and then looked back at the two. Yes, the snow is probably going to stack up tonight if it does continue. Okay, can Hinata sleep over? Of course, anything for my son's special friend. Hinata had a confused expression, but he still smiled, while Kageyama was squinting his eyes at his mom in suspicion. What did Nichan tell you? Nothing, sweetie, go upstairs and wash up. You two might catch a cold. They both bowed at a 90-degree angle and rushed upstairs. Who was that, Mom? It's your brother and his crush. Cool. What? Kageyama whispers to himself while holding a piece of paper in his hands. It says, "Hello, my soulmate heart." Those 3 words were enough to make Kageyama think so hard, and he rarely does that except when it's for volleyball. He has already taken a bath and Hinata's currently the one who's in the bathroom. Fortunately, Hinata has extra underwear, so his clothes are the only problem. The mystery behind that though is that Kageyama's mom actually called the Hinata residence and secretly asked Hinata's mom to bring clothes for Hinata. That's why when Hinata called his home's family number and told his mom that he's staying at Kageyama's house, the shorter boy was surprised when he found out that his mom already knew that he was gonna stay over, but he didn't pay it much attention. Now, Kageyama is sitting on his bed, still with the letter on his hand while waiting for Hinata. Kageyama continued to stare at the letter until the door of his room suddenly crept open, revealing Hinata, who had just finished taking a bath, drying his hair with a towel. Kageyama jumped in surprise and immediately hid the letter. When his gaze landed on Hinata, his heart dropped, for 2 reasons. First, the clueless boy was wearing Kageyama's gray hoodie, the one that was given to him when he was a kid. Second, Kageyama knows that he has to be at least angry or annoyed about it, but he's not, because he's being hypnotized by the sight of Hinata wearing an oversized clothing. Kageyama-kun, are you listening to me? Oh, sorry, what was that? I said that the water was so warm, it felt good on my skin. Oh, okay. Kageyama sighed and tried to gather himself together, but that plan immediately went down in the drain when Hinata started to approach him once again. The shorter boy sat in front of Kageyama and felt the latter's forehead with the back of his hand. Kageyama, are you sure that you're not sick? Yes, stop touching me. Hee, sorry. Hinata continued to dry his hair, very casually, while Kageyama is low-key suffering because of his thoughts. Oh right, I'll return your clothes tomorrow, Kageyama. Kageyama doesn't know what went through his mind, but it was already too late. You can keep the hoodie. Why? It doesn't fit me anymore. Hinata giggles. Thanks, Kageyama. Hinata continues to dry his hair and Kageyama continues to stare into space while thinking about who sent the letter to him, until Kageyama. What? Kageyama-kun, look. Stop being so loud, you dumb. Kageyama's eyes widened when he saw a red light attached to both of their chests. Hinata tried to block the string of light, but it just went through his hand. Is this? Are we soulmates? They slowly looked at each other with wide eyes, and both of them were still in shock. Is it because of this hoodie? I guess. But why though? My dad gave that to me 10 years ago before he left us. Oh. How about you? I don't remember you giving me anything. I think it's my pen. Pen? What pen? No, Kageyama-kun, we were studying with Inashita-san and I lent you my drawing pen. Drawing pen, like those pens that architects use? Yeah, you remember, Kageyama-kun? I saw it in my dream last night. Oh. But what's special about it? My dad gave it to me when I was a kid because I used to love drawing. Oh, okay. Cue the awkwardness. They were asking each other all these things, but they both didn't know what to do. Do they date each other? Do they ask if they even like each other? So what? What do we do now? I don't know, don't ask me. Don't you have someone you like? That was you dumbass. Oh. Hinata's cheeks flushed into a red tint, and so did Kageyama's. At this point, the red light was already gone, but it doesn't matter because they already know that they're soulmates. Do you want to ask me to be your boyfriend? You dumbass, why should I be the one to ask? I'm too shy. Hinata covers his face with the towel in embarrassment. Ugh, fine. Oi, you dumbass. Yes, Kageyama-kun? Hinata puts down the towel and smiles cheekily at Kageyama. This is when we should all be aware that Hinata Shoyo is just messing around with Kageyama Tobio. He just wants the taller boy to confess to him. It's also his confirmation to himself, because what if Kageyama doesn't really like him? Do you want to be my fucking boyfriend? Why was that so vulgar and violent? What do you want me to do? Be sweeter. You do it then. Hinata rolls his eyes in frustration and snatches Kageyama's hands. Kageyama-kun. Can you please be my boyfriend? Hinata bats his eyelashes at Kageyama and acts cute while holding his hands. Kageyama takes a deep breath and hung his head low. Sure. Yay, I have a boyfriend now. Hinata was jumping in joy while Kageyama was just quietly hanging his head low, still in shock by what's happening. Maybe soulmates do exist. The day after that, the whole team went nuts in happiness. That was also the time when the two found out that they were rooting for the two of them. Kageyama also broke a person's heart that day because the letter he received turns out to be not from Hinata. End. Hello again everyone, I hope you all enjoyed this video. Again, I'm sorry for the errors. By the way, I will be posting an angst video next time. Insert smirking face. I know I said that I won't post any videos that are pure angst, but yet here we are. Anyways, bye, love y'all.